Dwarven society in Dragon Age has some of the most fascinating lore entries in the entire series, and the story of their previous and sprawling capital, Kal Sharok, is one of them. Thousands of years ago, on the continent of Thedas, the modern conception of the Dwarven people lived in their heyday. It was during this time as well that the Dwarves first came into contact with the newest inhabitants of Thedas, who had recently founded the Tevinter Imperium and were looking for an ally in their war against the Elves on land. To aid in this battle, the Dwarves at Kal Sharok made a treaty with the humans that lasted for years. But over time, the Tevinter Imperium started to grow more and more annoyed at the fact that Kal Sharok was so close to their capital, and demanded that the Dwarves move their base of operations to Orzammar to the west, and the Dwarves conceded and agreed. At the time, there were 4 great taigs in the Dwarven kingdom, but none except for Orzammar had an entrance to the surface world, and so now with the capital being moved there as well, it became highly relied upon by all great taigs across Thedas. This became a huge issue though when the First Blight finally began, because in order to protect themselves, Orzammar caused a massive collapse of all of the deep roads leading to the other major cities, or Great Taigs, and this included Kal Sharok. And just like that, the people of that Great Taig were doomed to oblivion and death at the hands of the Darkspawn, or so the Dwarven people thought. Because over 1,000 years later, signs started to crop up that maybe the long-lost and forgotten city of Kal Sharok was still alive and kicking. Dwarven traders on the surface started to appear that had language patterns more similar to the ancient dwarves, not the modern ones most humans on Thedas knew, and in no time it became clear that these dwarves were in fact from the ancient dwarven capital. How has this city been kept such a big secret for so long? Well, in Dragon Age Inquisition as well, we can learn about how different Kal Sharok Dwarven traders had in fact been making contact with the surface world for many hundreds of years, but they wore masks and kept their identity and customs a complete secret. The question then becomes, why so much secrecy though? Why not make their presence more known? And what did they have to hide? Well, here comes the horrifying part. Because the bigger puzzle in all of this is, how did these dwarves survive for so long deep underground in a city thought gone against the Darkspawn, the greatest threat the world has ever seen? Could it be that the dwarves of Kal Sharok are blighted? But if they are, how have they not become like the Darkspawn? Have they somehow figured out how to overcome the taint and the whisper of the song that leads Darkspawn to their bloodshed? The dwarves of Kal Sharok might be holding the answer to how to fight back against one of the most evil forces in all of Thedas, and considering their capital is in the Tevinter Imperium, where Dragon Age 4 will likely take place, sounds like a good as time as ever to figure that out.